What would you consider the worst tornadoes in the US history? Former severe weather expert at the Weather Channel Dr. Greg Forbes combed through damage costs and fatality statistics in order to rank the nation's worst single tornadoes using a 100-point scale. Of course, there are many ways one can combine and scale this data, so this is just one possibility. The higher the index, the worse or more impactful the tornado. So today we're gonna tell you about the 10 worst tornadoes in the US. You may be surprised to find that the April 3, 1974 super outbreak did not have a single tornado on the list. None of the 1974 super outbreak tornadoes individually were exceptionally deadly, which kept them off the list, said Dr. Forbes. Number 10. Waco, 1953, and Wichita Falls, Texas, 1979. These tornadoes are just two examples debunking the myth that tornadoes don't strike the heart of larger cities. Fast facts. Waco, deadliest tornado on record in Texas, 114 deaths. At the time, Wichita Falls tornado, costliest in US, $400 million in 1979. Forbes Index 27.3. The Waco tornado carved a path up to 1/3 mile wide through the heart of the city's downtown, reaching F5 intensity the day after Mother's Day 1953. Over 600 businesses, 850 homes, and 2,000 cars were either destroyed or damaged. Some survivors had to wait up to 14 hours to be rescued from the rubble. The Wichita Falls tornado of April 10, 1979 was one of 13 tornadoes which rampaged across parts of North Texas and Oklahoma that terrible Tuesday. This over 1 mile wide beast carved through the heart of this city of roughly 100,000. Almost 3,100 homes were destroyed. Despite the issuance of severe warning, coverage by local television stations, and multiple soundings of sirens, 42 were killed, many of which tried to flee in their vehicles. Number 9. Natchez, Mississippi, May 7, 1840. While the Great Natchez Tornado tied both Waco 1953 and Wichita Falls 1979 in Dr. Forbes' calculations, we place Natchez ahead of the Texas tornadoes based on the death toll. Fast facts. Second deadliest US tornado, 317 killed. Only 26 states in the US in 1840. Forbes Index 27.3. First, consider what wasn't in place in 1840. Electricity wouldn't be invented for another 39 years. No television, radio, internet or sirens either. Then, picture Natchez as a bustling river port city with floatboats galore. Now, picture a massive wedge tornado, most likely of F5 intensity, bearing down on the city. The tornado first touched down about 20 miles southwest of Natchez, then hugged the river, hit Natchez Landing, then came ashore, tearing through the city itself. Of the 317 official deaths, reliable reports suggest 269 of those perished as flatboats were sunk. This death toll may be forever underestimated, as fatalities from slaves were not counted in that era. Reportedly, a fragment of a steamboat's window was carried 30 miles away. Number 8. Hackleburg, Alabama, April 27, 2011. One of $2 billion tornadoes from the April 27, 2011 super outbreak took aim on the town of Hackleburg, Alabama, population 1,430. Fast facts. Total damage estimate $1.25 billion. Estimated maximum wind 210 miles per hour. Total path length 132 miles. Forbes index 27.5. This tornado, packing peak winds over 200 miles per hour, tossed vehicles 150-200 yards and leveled a well-built four-sided brick home, tossing its debris 40 yards downwind, according to the official damage survey from the National Weather Service in Birmingham, Alabama. On its 132-mile rampage from Marion County, Alabama to Franklin County, Tennessee, 72 were killed and 145 were injured. This would have easily been the costliest tornado in Alabama history, if it wasn't for another tornado about 80 miles to the south that same day. More on that later. Number 7. Worcester, Massachusetts, June 9, 1953. Deadly, destructive tornadoes are not simply confined to the Midwest and South. Our number 7 tornado was arguably the worst tornado of record in New England. Fast facts. Total damage estimate corrected for inflation $1.36 billion in 2011. 94 killed, 1,288 injured. Path length 46 miles over 84 minutes. Forbes index 31. Just one day after 115 were killed in a Flint, Michigan, F5 tornado, the same weather system spawned this deadly tornado which raked through the north side of the city of Worcester, among other locations in Massachusetts. Gainesville, Georgia, April 6, 1936. Amazingly, there was another instance of single tornadoes claiming over 100 lives occurring on back-to-back days. Fast facts: 203 killed, 1,600 injured. Largest tornado death toll in one building in US history. Cooper Pants Factory. Total damage estimate corrected for inflation $1.32 billion in 2011. Forbes index 38.3. As if the Dust Bowl and Great Depression were not enough to worry about, a two-day southern tornado outbreak culminated in a destructive tornado event in Gainesville, northeast of Atlanta on April 6, 1936. We say event since there were actually two tornadoes, one coming from the west, the other from the southwest, which merged over the city that awful April morning, leaving a 4-block wide path of destruction. Buildings collapsed as the central business district was almost entirely leveled, including the county courthouse. The collapse and fire of the Cooper Pants factory killed dozens. 40 people were never found and are officially deemed as missing. This disaster occurred just one day after the Tupelo, Mississippi tornado claimed 216 lives. The total death toll from the April 5-6, 1936 two-day tornado outbreak was 454 people. This was the first part of our top 10 tornado rate. If this topic is interesting for you, check our previous video Tornado Warning Forecast USA and look for the 10 worst tornadoes in the US part 2. Leave your comments, like this video and stay with facts beyond reality.